Today we are talking about products from Asian beauty that is good for beginners. Not just beginner for makeup, also beginner for Asian beauty. So you just dived into this. And this would be my recommendation. So I have several criteria. So first one, I would try my best to select a little bit more affordable options, even though I would have to say majority of this is not like very drugstore type of price range, but I try. So for example, I exclude my foundations from SUQQU because that is like $70 something for like $70-80 foundation. So I don't think that's good for beginner. But at the same time, foundation is a tough category when it comes to Asian beauty. So sometimes I just have to sacrifice the price part. The second criteria is the shade range. Because you're a beginner or not, the shade range is very important. You know, if you don't get a shade that's usable for your skin tone, that's basically not a real recommendation for you. It's useless, right? So that's the second one. And what I want to add on this is it's not just about how much choices are there. It's also about how easy it is to choose from. It's like for beginners, I mean, it's nice a foundation has 60 shades, but I do think 60 shades to choose from for a foundation is kind of hard for a beginner. So the shade should be like reasonable of a range, but not too much for you to choose from. And the last one is, of course, easy to apply. So I would not recommend anything that is like require a lot of skills or a lot of figuring out to make it work. So that's the criteria. So the first one, let's talk about foundations. I have three. I think I talk about these three foundations in a lot of the videos. But let me just talk about these foundations following the criteria that I was just talking about. So this tirtir foundation, the shade range for an Asian foundation is not bad at all. In fact, it's better than a lot of Western brands. And another thing I really like is the shade is like easier to understand. That they got like an alphabet in it to tell you what undertone it has. So I have the shade 24W. That means it's the depth is 24, which this part could be a little bit confusing. But W means warm, and there's C means cool, and M means neutral, I think. I'm not quite sure do they really have the cool undertone, but I believe they do. And 24 just, I think is their either 4th or 5th shades, and it's like towards a medium undertone. I think 23 is light medium, 25 is medium, so 24 is like in between light medium and medium, so light medium to medium. It's like a touch darker for me. But the thing with this is, I don't think this is the most easy to apply foundation out there. This actually takes some figuring out before you make it work, because it's really very great coverage. So if you use too much, it can get cakey and too heavy very quick. But this one has I think it's a pretty nice price range. So I feel like this is meeting the majority of the criteria other than the easy to apply part. I really dug in my foundation collection, and I just feel like foundations that meet all of the criteria that I just talked about is almost non-existent. You got to sacrifice one category. So for this one is the easy to apply part. So for this one, Addiction Tokyo is their Lift Glow foundation. This one different than this one. This one has a little bit more glow. This one is not like too matte, it's like a satiny matte, like a natural finish. This is just a tiny little bit more glowy than that, and this is not as full coverage. This is like light medium to medium type of coverage. And even though the shade I wouldn't say is like very nice, but I feel like from light to medium type of skin tone you could find something, especially if you are neutral to warm or like me, light to medium olive skin tone. I have the shade 007. This is nearly perfect match for my light medium olive skin tone. But the thing is, I don't think how affordable this is in Japan. It's like a high-end brand, but it's not like super expensive. I think this is around like 6,000 yen, which is maybe 40 something dollars. So I feel like for a high-end foundation, 40 something dollars isn't bad, but I don't know how much this is gonna cost if you are buying from abroad. I mean, if you are from Asian country, I'm pretty sure in a lot of countries they have like counters there or like online EC stores and stuff, but if you are from Western country, this can be pretty expensive to get on hand. I don't know. I heard like this brand was once in the US. I don't know if it's still is. I feel like a lot of J-beauty brand gets no attention. So even if they extend their market to the US, they often have to get pulled out of the shelf because they don't sell, because nobody paying attention. I feel like they're just not very good at marketing globally. But the formulation is very good. It's very easy to apply. I have yet to mess up with this one. It's like a well in the middle type of range. It's not too runny, but that at the same time it's not like too solid. It's not too pigmented, but also it's not like there's no pigment. And the finish is not too oily, but also it's not too matte. It's in the middle. So I feel like this could be like a universal like. The local Japanese people, a lot of people like this foundation. It's like a good, well-loved foundation here. So the last one. This one, I feel like it's similar story with the Edition Tokyo one. The price, I don't think it's that affordable. I think this, I could be wrong, but in the US it might be like around $50 for a bottle of foundation. But I do think this is pretty beginner friendly, especially if you want like a sheer base, because I feel like for beginners it's quite hard to just begin from like a super pigmented foundation. So as for the coverage level, this is the most sheer, this is in the middle, and this is like very pigmented, and that's the lineup we have here. And this one has a more glowy finish than this one, so even the glowy level is kind of like a gradient. This one is like semi-matte, this one is like natural glowy, and this one is glowy. This is very forgivable with skin texture as well. I recently started to use retinol, so I have like dry patch, like some breakouts happening, but it's been handling pretty well. So I really feel like this one, it doesn't really pick how you use it as well. It's pretty forgivable when it comes to application. So yeah, these three would be my three recommendation for beginners. Actually, all of these could be like a top recommendation, but I just don't know, you know, what type of things you're asking for, so I choose three. But today, which one do I use? Why not mix, right? Why not mix? One thing about this Shiseido foundation, this Revitalessence Skin Glow foundation, I have the shade 250. This shade in other foundation from Shiseido, this same shade should be my match, but this shade for some reason applies a little bit paler. So I think maybe if you're in between shades, maybe get a shade that's like slightly darker for you. And see the comparison. This one is the Edition Tokyo one. Like, can you tell it's like slightly darker? and this one is the Shiseido one. This is my perfect match. So I think we can mix a little bit more of the Addiction Tokyo one. And you can also see the Shiseido one is more liquidy than the Addiction Tokyo one. And these two, both of the formulations are very, very smooth. Like, it really doesn't take much to blend it well on your skin. Like, I have never experienced them like being patchy or stuff. They are just, in general, in my opinion, okay, like everybody's skin is different, but in my opinion, they are very, very easy to apply. And I really don't like, just in general, beginner or not, I don't really like products that make you to jump in hoops to make it work. And these two surely would not. I have a fair amount of dry skin flaring up around my nose, and I think it's handling it pretty well. I mean, if you are like having really irritated skin, I'm not sure if this is gonna actually work, like actually being super smooth, but at least for my level, like a little bit irritated level of skin, this is working super well. And the shade is actually not bad. And all of these breakouts, I don't know why, like tretinoin is making my skin feel like a little bit itchy, especially on my neck. So it's been like having these like little spots because I keep scratching them. So for concealer, to be honest, I don't know what concealer to recommend, especially if you are from the Western countries, because I feel like in Asia, people use the solid balm, like super hard ones as concealer a lot, like little palettes. But in Western countries, you usually use the liquid ones, right? And even the ones from the pot is like a slightly different formulation than what people use in Asia. And also for the palettes, I just feel like for beginner, do you need like a big ass palette for like 4 or 5 shades of concealer? Like, do you actually use that? Even me, I have this many concealers palettes, I just don't reach for them that much. So my choice would be this Girls Crush concealer. This is actually a CBG brand. I really like their concealer, and I have the shade 03. This is olive shade, like a true olive. See that how olive that is. So I feel like for people who have like a pale olive skin, this is like, actually I just don't think a shade this olive widely exists in the like overall makeup world. It's like kind of hard to find, and the formulation is like a very creamy and easy to blend formulation. It's not like too, how to say, too thick, but it's also not too runny, and the coverage is like a medium level coverage, which I think is just the best for people that's like a beginner. It's covering the redness pretty well. I mean, I don't know why I put it around my eyes. My eyes don't need like a olive corrector, but here we go. It doesn't look bad, you know. I guess I have some like redness at the corner, outer corner of my eye, so maybe I could cancel the redness there, and see, like it's gone. Not like actually a color corrector, it's just a normal concealer texture, but they just make it like a olive shade, which I find is quite nice, especially for the beginners that are olive skin tone, and you often find foundations being so orange and lack that olive undertone. I think this is nice, and again, the formulation is very universal. For powders, I have to recommend something that's like a little bit more expensive, but the thing is, when it comes to powder, I just don't know what to do because I don't know what skin type you have. That is like quite an important part when it comes to powder. My best recommendation would be like somewhere in the middle, and also have some choices for shades. And it would be the decorte powder. I have the one that's like 4 color in one, like 4 pastel color, but they have like the same powder in like a round cap, a round container. They have like various colors for that, even like a brown one. I don't know like how well the brown one is gonna work for like a darker skin tone, but I think up to like medium tan, that shade definitely works. And there are like skin tone colors, there are like pinkier colors, there are like more of like a whitish glowy color. They have a lot of colors to choose from. If we are considering the price in Asia, it's not like too wildly expensive for a luxury brand. Yes, this is like actually a luxury brand. I think this is also like around either 5,000 or 6,000 yen, probably 6,000 yen for a jar. So again, like $40. Not super affordable, of course, but I also don't think it's like a very ridiculous of a price. It's like a normal price for a high-end luxury brand powder. And you get 16 grams of product, which isn't bad. A lot of powders only have like 8 or something, and it's like you probably can finish that just in 2 months. So 16 isn't bad. So the one I personally have is like pastel. Whenever I use a foundation that's too dark, I really like to use this. And the formulation is, it's not like super oil controlling word now. So if you are oily and it's in the summer, this is not gonna cut it for you. That's for sure. But I feel like all of the other seasons with my oily skin, it could work. So I do feel like this is more of like a universal type of formulation. It's not those type of HD powders. But I do in the summer use HD powders. This is just not that. This is your normal like lightweight loose powder that adds a little bit of color on your skin. Like there are translucent ones, but I still think it has like some sort of like a skin color to it. And I think it's like mattifying my skin, like blurring my skin without being heavy. Like what do you think? I think it looks pretty nice. And my skin look pretty natural right now. It doesn't look like I have a lot of product on my face at all. So for eyebrow, I have recommended this thing for so many times. This is from the brand uemura. This is their hard formula eyebrow pencil, I believe, and I have the shade Seal Brown in the shade 02. This is like a powder, eyebrow powder pressed into a pencil. And it's very easy to use, especially for beginners, that I feel like a lot of people would recommend like a very skinny pencil. But when you're a beginner, I feel like those are very hard to use. It's like taking ages to get the shape right and taking ages to like fill it in if you need a lot of like help with your eyebrow. But this one, you could sharpen it into this like flat tip, and it can draw like longer, bigger strokes. But because it's like, it feels like a powder pressed into a pencil, so the lines are not too sharp to the point that you need a lot of precision. You could just go with this. As long as the shape is not too bad, it's not gonna look bad. And it's like very quick. I hate to spend ages on eyebrow. Like who love that? Just gonna lightly fill in my eyebrow. The shade I have here is, in my opinion, very great for black haired people. Like I think my hair is like pretty black. It's not even like a dark brunette. It's like pretty much just black. But I don't really want my eyebrow to be pure black. I still want it to have some brown shade in it. So this shade is just perfect for that. And I believe if you want like a pure black ones, they have like shades for that. Their shade selection is also pretty nice. You even if you have like red hair, they have like a red one, and they have like olive ones, and for like blonde ones as well. Like the shade selection is really pretty nice. And for the price, I would have to say it's probably more of a high-end price. But the thing is, this one pencil lasts you for years. So comparison to those super skinny ones that you might run out of one of that every month, this is actually the more inexpensive option. I only need to sharpen this for like maybe once a year. So a pencil that's this long can last you like maybe for a year. So consider how long this pencil is. I think this one pencil can well last you like 5 years probably. I mean, unless you are sharpening them very, very often, which a lot of people do. They want like a very sharp tip. So for that, it probably like will last you less long. But for me, I just like this type of finish. I don't need it to be like super, super precise and draw hairs and stuff. You can do that with this. But yeah, for the way I use this, I think this pencil can last me more than 5 years. And they already last me more than 1 year, and it doesn't even look like I gone through that much, and I use this pretty much every day. Let's talk about eyeshadows. I have 3 recommendations. So let's start with the most affordable one. This is from Cezanne. The one I have is their beige tone eyeshadow. So I feel like for beginner, not just for age and beauty, like a beginner in general, it's probably better to get something that is like basic, that you just know you like to use, and also the ones that's easy to blend and not very pigmented. I feel like the very pigmented stuff is good, but I don't know how beginner friendly that is, especially if you are like a beginner that you don't even know how to blend yet. So getting something that's show up on your skin, you don't have to like do extra things to make it show up, but at the same time it doesn't show up too much, is something that's gonna be like the most beginner friendly. And also this is just a little drugstore, little quad, and it is pretty inexpensive. I think in Japan it's like 7 something hundred yen, which is like $4 or $5 probably. Even if you import this from abroad, I don't think this is gonna be like super, super expensive for you. And I have the shade 02, Rosy Beige. And I could just apply this with my finger. No problem with that. So the next one is from the brand Flower Nose. I personally think their eyeshadow palettes are pretty beginner friendly. As long as you're choosing the shade that's beginner friendly. They have some crazy color palettes, so maybe you know, avoid those if those are not your, you know, daily look type of colors. The one that I personally think that's the most beginner friendly is this one. It's their midsummer collection, midsummer fairytales collection. This is their embossed 5-color eyeshadow palette, and I have the shade 01. I mean, this is pretty, like, I don't think I need some explanation. I think this is like pretty easy to use color story. Oh, let me do some swatch for you. The Cezanne one. And I'm not going very hard at the pan. So you can see there are colors and there are some manageable shines, but it's not like super scary type of, you know, pigmentation. And I really like this formulation. You see the mattes, it's like more of a satin, so it's not, there's no sparkle in it, but there's some like skin finish glow to it, which is very pretty. And this flower nose one, it's not the most sheer one, but it's also not the most pigmented one either, which I found that's like in the middle level of pigmentation, very easy to navigate. And these mattes are like real mattes, like you can see compared to these are like completely matte, and the glitters are pretty nice, like stronger than this, but still not like super strong type of thing, right? And I just feel like this is like very pretty, and I think flower nose is easier to get globally, like they're officially in a lot of country, like you have a official website to purchase from. But they discontinue their products pretty often, so I don't know if the exact one is still available, but I think overall their formulation is pretty easy to navigate. So if you can't get this one, the next thing I would recommend is from the Swan Ballet collection, but that collection is not very like a brown everyday type-ish things, like more pinks, peach, and like more bold colors. So if that's your cup of tea, that's also good. And the more expensive recommendation would be from SUQQU. So this is really for the people that want to splurge, right? Splurge. So if you want to spend money, this would be my recommendation. It's on the more pigmented side for like a Japanese eyeshadow, but it's not like, again, not super pigmented. Like you can see it's like pretty easily to get some pigmentation, but it's not like a crazy, right? So I feel like if you like this type of thing, but you want to like go on the budget, I feel like the Cezanne one is just well enough. And all of these are pretty easy to use colors. The flower nose one, I would say, is like a nice warm neutral, and the other two leaning slightly warm. With the SUQQU one a little bit on the orange side, but this one is like a little bit warmer than like neutral, which I think all of these colors are pretty easy to navigate. So maybe today let's just use the Cezanne one, and I will just use my finger, which is the most beginner friendly way. Let's use this shade, like a mid-toned brown. And my eyelid is pretty dry right now as well from all of the tretinoin. Like I don't apply that on my eyelids, but my eyelids still manage to get pretty dry. Probably the product just migrate after you apply. I don't know, not expert. And like I think it's pretty blended, right? Just from my finger like swinging back and forth. And I'm gonna take my pinky and take the same shade on the corner of the pinky. So if you are applying on the opposite side of your eye, put it on this side, like the outer part of your pinky, and connect it a little bit with the upper eyelid. And I think that's pretty finished. And if you want to blend it more, you can just like take another clean finger to gently, okay, the key is gently blend it. And I think that's pretty nice. And I'm gonna take the same edge of the pinky and go this way. Actually, you could just use the sponge applicator from the palette, but I always just prefer my finger. And that's pretty much done with that shade. And we can take the darkest shade, which is slightly warmer. I'm gonna focus that on the outer corner. Like a lot of Japanese eyeshadows are just good for apply with your fingers, because they were designed to work with this type of sponge applicator, which is like kind of like mimics your finger in my opinion. And I can layer this little glitter on top, which again is not like the most pigmented thing ever at all actually, but I just don't know the super intense glitters are beginner friendly or not. I really think not. So this level I think is like good for a beginner, but this one got like a tiny little bit more strong one. So let's layer a little bit. Like you can see this is more strong than the cezanne one, but still not like crazy strong. It's just like a little bit stronger. So I really always has been loving this palette. Like, I think it's like very easy to use. Curl my eyelash. So for eyeliner, I really feel like whatever liquid eyeliner could just work, because majority of my experience with Asian beauty liquid eyeliners has been positive. So I have never like struggled to find things that to work for me, because majority of them are like a brush tip. They just have like a different shape of a brush tip. And my recent favorites, this would not be like an overall recommendation, because again, like I feel like a lot of things could work, but the recent thing I got that I think could be good is again from Flower Nose. This is their, I think like Cloud Color collection. Is their just a liquid liner, and I got the brown shade. This tip is like very thin, but it's not too thin to the point that I need two years to fill in one wing, and it's like slightly on the longer side but not too long, because sometimes I just feel like when the brush is too long, I just lose control. Like I feel like the liner is wiggling everywhere, like every angle that I didn't want it to be. And I think this brown shade is pretty perfect for me. Yeah, pretty nice, right? And it's not even that expensive. For like eyeliner and mascara, don't ever get the expensive one when it comes to Asian beauty. Like just get the drugstore one or the like cheaper option that you could find. I swear majority of them just even work better than the high-end one sometimes. That's pretty quick and pretty easy. Oh, this eye is a little bit shorter. Let me make that slightly longer. Mascara. I actually used to love the one from Chemic, the Quick Lash Curl, and I still love that, and I still have several backup in my possession. Right now I don't have that open, and that is like a comb tip that you need to like comb evenly on your hair, and it's rarely smudge on me. I am someone that has the oiliest eyelid ever. It's to the point that, let's say like, you know, on my off days, I'm not going to the office, I sometimes don't wash my face in the morning. Okay, I know maybe somebody don't agree with that, like you should always wash your face, but I sometimes don't wash my face in the morning. I just shower and wash my face at the end of the day if I'm not going outside. So in that situation, at the end of the day, towards the 24 hours from my last face wash time, my eyelid would be so oily to the point that the oil is getting into my eye and irritate my eye, and I'm been rubbing my eye and getting more oil in there, and it hurts more. It happens very often. So a lot of times I'm only washing my face in the morning if I'm not going out, just to prevent that from happening. That's how oily my eyes are. So majority of the mascara smudge on me, but I swear something about Japanese mascara just work differently. It just I wouldn't say it's still like they never smudge, but they last way longer. The Can Make Eyelash Quick Lash Curler one, that one could last me 12 hours before they start smudge. And this one, the one I'm about to show you from the brand Cezanne, is their Lasting Curl Slim Mascara. This one, I think it's the same level, if not better, than the Can Make one. And the brush is very skinny and very, very easy to use. So for beginner, I don't know if you really want the spider legs super, super strong type of finish. I think this is good enough. And it's just so easy to use because how small the brush is. A lot of time I found mascara hard to apply only because the brush is too big. It's not only about the effect it gives you, it also is about like how well can you see what are you doing, right? When the like brush is bigger than your eye, you don't even see what you are doing with your eyelash. But this one, very nice and skinny. But a lot of times like people only use these for under eye mascara, which I think is good for that, but I also think this skinny brush is just good for like your upper eyelash as well. I mean, I think these work pretty well considering the brush is this skinny. Like it doesn't even look like a brush on the camera. See how skinny the brush is? But I would say the effect is pretty impressive, right? Like it's not like super subtle that you feel like you did nothing. It's like on the natural side, but you still can see the effect, right? I really like this, and it's like super affordable. I think again like 700 something and probably a couple dollars. I really like this. Face palette. So for this category, I really feel like the shade and the color, the undertone, matters the most. So for the shades, I really like this one from the brand Kaleidos. Is there like the trio? I don't know the official name because it's all in Chinese, and majority of the time their direct translation is not their official English name. But yeah, this trio, this is the only face palette this brand has. They have, I think, 4 or 5 shades, and it covers a wide range of skin tone. I think even if you are like darker skin, you can find the shade. I think the darker shade can be working for a lot of people, which I think that's pretty ideal because for beginners, you probably don't know what exact undertone you have, but you know your skin tone. So them giving the very simple one option for each skin tone is pretty like beginner friendly. And in each palette, you do get like a cooler one and a warmer one. I think that is like, again, very beginner friendly. You just know your skin tone and you buy your skin tone, and they have like a warm one and a cool tone one in it. So you don't have to choose. Same with the foundation. I feel like sometimes when it comes to choices, if they have too much, it really is too much to choose from, really. It's like, it's good to give your option for your skin tone, but let's say they have like 10 options for the same skin tone, you probably don't know what to do, right? Like what do you do with this 10 slightly different than each other type of skin tone? In that sense, this is a very easy to choose from product, and it's like pretty well made. The packaging is very heavy. I feel like this is metal, probably, and it's very slim, right? And another option is for the people that actually knows your undertone, so not only your skin tone but your undertone, is the Joocyee one. This one, I really like them because of the formulation is very forgiving. I have never felt like I need to blend more and I have effed up this and it looks patchy. I have never experienced that. This is so easy to blend, for me at least. It could work different for different people. But this one is like more pigmented, so you might need a little bit more like technique or be more careful with the formulation. But this one, I don't think so. It's just this one, I don't think it can work for a very wide range of skin tone. But they do have a couple different options for different undertones you have. So if you're around my skin or lighter and you know your undertone and you want to find a tone that's good for you, I think this is good. There are some like very cool tone ones. This is more of a neutral for my light, medium, warm olive skin tone, and I really like this. Let's just take this cooler toned. I'm really like only lightly dabbing in the palette, and you see I even it out on the palm of my hand, and you can still see it's pretty showing up pretty well. So be careful, but I do think the formulation is not hard to blend. It just, as a beginner, you need to control the amount of product you use. Okay, I think the color works pretty well for my skin tone. And even though it's like a cool undertone, like a cool toned shade, I don't think it looks muddy. I still think it's like a reasonable shadowy color. And as for bronzer, I just don't think bronzer is a thing here in Asia. So you would be very easily finding a lot of like contour palettes like this. But I feel like you probably rarely gonna find a bronzer. Even if you found one that is like a bronzer shade for you, that thing is not intended to be a bronzer. They are intended to be like a contour. And even though I would appreciate a concept of a bronzer, I just discard that category from a long time ago, because I just couldn't find one that works for my skin tone. A lot of time I see Western people do is they use a foundation that matches their face, but they have like a tan on their body. So they use their bronzer to match the perimeter of their face to their body. So it works for them because the tan that they put on their body matches the bronzer shade. But for me, I am a light, medium, warm olive skin tone. It's very, very hard to find a bronzer that is actually olive undertone. They're all so orange and red. So on me, if I dare to do the same thing, the bronzer is not gonna blend my face into my body. I'm just gonna look like somebody has a light, medium, warm olive skin tone, but I used a foundation 3 shades lighter than my actual skin, and now I have an orange perimeter on my face. It just doesn't work. I never find anything that is like a good bronzer shade for my skin tone, so I just better not bother with that category entirely, right? So yeah, there wouldn't be any bronzer recommendations. I don't know any. For blush, we have a lot that we could talk about. Actually, three options. So the first one, this one, again, I have talked about this for a long time, and I have like a video for this whole range. The reason I choose this, which is the House of Her Moist Ample Blusher, is because, first of all, very easy to apply. It's like a sheer, watery, liquid blush. Like, just apply with your finger and it's easy to blend. And second of all, is because of the price. It's pretty affordable. Not like a drugstore price, but I think this little bottle is like around $10 on their website, like global website. And the third reason is because of the shade choice. Like I said, I think having shade that at least work for your skin tone is very crucial, because I mean, if it doesn't have something work for your skin tone, it's like just doesn't work for you. It's not a valid recommendation, right? So this blush has the range from very like fair to, I think, could work for majority of the like deeper skin tones. Even though I have people in the comment section tell me that they're basically just they have like a very fair skin tone, and even the lightest shades from this range doesn't really work for their skin, is still too dark. That's possible. Okay, I'm not saying they have things for everyone, but I just feel like among Asian beauty, this brand do have a way wider range of a selection than a lot of like actual Asian beauty brands. I have to say this is more of like a global brand, but the founder and the concept is very K-beauty. That's why I choose this one. I have talked about this one for a lot, and I have like a lot of videos on my channel as well. So let's just stop there. So the next one is from, again, Kaleidos. I feel like Kaleidos is a brand that, even though it's C-beauty, it was supposed to be more of a global brand. So they did a lot of variety of a lot of their products. I think the only one they don't have is like base, because they don't have like foundation or concealer and stuff. And I really hope they have one, because I have a feeling that they are gonna do way better than other C-beauty for that. So for their blush, which is what we are supposed to talk about here, they really have like a very wide range that could work for different skin tone people. So this one, clearly, it works for people that have like a paler, more like cool olive skin tone. And this is the shade P09. We also have this one, which is like cooler Barbie doll, pinky undertoned blush. I think this is more for like light to light medium skin tone. And we have this one, which is like a rich, very like beautiful deeper red that works for like a deeper skin tone. Oh, I just dug my nail into there. Overall, I just think this brand has like way more range than other Asian beauty do, and their formulation is pretty nice. This is a very buttery, very fine powder, and I personally find it to be like pretty easy to blend. And the price, even though I do feel like it probably sells at like a more expensive price when it comes to like a global market, but I still don't think this is like super expensive brand. I think it's like acceptable, like a mid-range of a price. So the last recommendation for blush is a luxury one. This is from SUQQU. Is their blurring color blush. I am holding the shade 01, which is actually my favorite one from them. This brand, this product is very expensive. I think it's around 5,000 to 6,000 yen, I believe, which is very expensive for a blush. I think that's like $30 to $40, probably 40 or even more for a blush. But I'm just talking about this for the people that, even though you are a beginner but you are not hesitant to spend money, like you got the budget, you just want some recommendation, and you are like somewhere around me or lighter skinned, I think this blush is just the easiest blush ever. Like you don't even have to think about blending it. It's like always blended on my skin. Suddenly finish, and it's like a gradient. I always just like blend all of the shade, and I just throw it on my cheeks, and it's like looks super blended every time, no matter like what the way I apply it. So I really feel like this is like a true beginner friendly formulation when it comes to application. Like you really could not mess this up as long as you got a shade that's like for your skin tone. And they got deeper shades actually. It's not like they only have things this pale, but it doesn't go like super deep. It goes in like maybe could work for a medium, skin tone type of deep. The only complaint I have for this is just the price. And I guess like shade range, they could go deeper really. And this brand is actually more of a global brand. When it comes to their foundation, you could find like the shade for deeper skin tones. So I feel like they should do blushes for deeper skin tone as well. But they don't at this moment, at least. So for highlight, I only got one because I feel like highlight is like very personal. Somebody have like want super intense highlight, but somebody don't. My recommendation for beginner would be like a subtle one and a cheaper one, because I really don't think you should spend like $50 just on highlight. I don't understand that. So for highlight, I think it's like not a hard to formulate category. It just again comes down to your preference, and I prefer a like subtle one. This is the Cezanne Mix Color Cheek N in the shade 10, Pale Highlight. It got different colors, but I just blend them all, and they really goes on super subtle and smooth. It doesn't emphasize skin texture, at least for me. Okay, everybody's different, but at least for me, it just adds this super pretty skin finish without being like super emphasizing the texture or hard to control and giving you like one stripe of highlight. It doesn't do that. I think it works pretty nice. And that's for highlight, not our focus, because I feel like highlight recommendation is kind of weird. It's too personal, and I rarely feel like a formulation of a highlight is bad. It's just, oh, this is not my thing type of thing. So yeah, I just got one recommendation for the beginners. For lips, this is also not a category that I focus on, because my personal opinion, lips are a very easy category, even for beginners. Like, I feel like everybody probably started with either mascara or like a lipstick or lip gloss type of thing. It's the easiest to access to and easiest to choose from. And as long as you're not working with like a liquid lipstick, majority of the products are easy to use for even beginners. So I'm just gonna have like two recommendations. That's for me, like compared to the others, this is probably on the more easier to use side for a beginner. But again, like you could just choose whatever. It's like an easy category for beginner. Oh, one recommendation is this Joocyee, I don't know, something duo. It doesn't really have a name. One side is a eyebrow lip liner, but it's like a sheer one, so it's hard to mess up. And the other side is a gloss, which is just very easy to use in general, you know, a gloss. I feel like this probably is something relevant to like preference and cultures and stuff, but in Asia, people really like a more of a blurred lip line rather than like a very defined lip line. So there are a lot of this type of like slightly more sheer lip liners, and this is one. But I do personally feel like a sheared one is just easier to use, because you're not gonna worry about messing up the edge or stuff like that. And I do feel like it gives me like a fair result. But I feel like that just looks pretty natural. Let's put this down for a second, and I'm just gonna layer a lip tint that I think is very, very easy to navigate for a beginner. This is the Beautiful Water Tint from the brand Romand, I think. And the shade I'm showing is 03, but my favorite would be 12. But mine expired. It smells weird, so I have been putting it away and using this shade instead. This is such an easy to use tint because it's not too stainy. Because when it's too stainy, before you make it even, it's already settled and your lip looks like uneven right now. And it's also not too pigmented, which is good for beginners for the reason I don't think I really need to explain. And also it's not like a very thick formulation, it's like a very lightweight, which I feel like all of this, it just creates a very easy to use lip tint. And I really like the formulation, and I like the color 12 a lot. That shade is really like my lip but better type of lip for me personally. I really like that one. But today let's layer this Joocyee one. And that's it. That's my recommendation for beginner if you are new to makeup, or if you are just dipping your toe into the Asian beauty world and you want some recommendation that's easy to start with. These are gonna be my recommendation. And thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions or whatever, feel free to leave in the comment. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.